Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine Probably. Something is a bit different tonight, but we are still the pod that searches through the doom and gloom to report back on all the amazing things that are happening in the world. We aim to provide you with a sense of comfort and well-being instead of delusion and confusion. Speaking of delusion, Jim thought it would be sensible to leave me in charge this week. I am still joined by Stuart, and there is no adult supervision. So what could go wrong? Stuart, how are you?
Well, it's good, isn't it? We've been left on our own, haven't we? I'm sure we'll be absolutely fine, won't we? We've got some great stories lined up tonight. So yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I went to a wedding at the weekend. I haven't been to a wedding for a long time. Bearing in mind I'm 50 now, so most people are either married or not married. But yeah, it was good fun. So end of the night, lots of old men dancing around in suits.
Did anyone have their tie tied around their head?
No one had the tie or sliding on their knees or
Nobody
anything
did
like
a power slide. No one had a tie tied around their head.
No, there was no power slides. So
how's your bee chimney?
My what? Sorry,
your bee chimney.
A bead chimney. Oh, the bee chimney. Yeah, that's a callback from a few weeks ago. Yeah, bees have been well behaved this year, so they're still about, but they haven't come. They haven't come into the house this year. So
yeah, you didn't take them to the wedding, like
no, I've got all that well sealed up. So there's no bee action this week. So no, controversial. I didn't wear a tie to the wedding. So, I know. So I thought just cash. Yeah, I haven't worn a tie for many years now, and I didn't think anyone would realise or notice, but most people did. Most men did.
Were they like, "Where's your tie?"
Well, no, there was actually one person. He came in a jumper. He said, "Look," he go, "I don't care." He said, "I haven't got a suit. They invited me. I'm coming in as I am." I thought that's pretty cool, and no one bothered. So
yeah, it depends what kind of, was it a super formal wedding or was it quite relaxed?
I think it was just normal wedding. Go to the church and then go to a hotel afterwards and get you chicken and potatoes and a bit of lemon tart, Bucks Fizz, and then have a little disco.
Oh, okay. Did they have a sweet buffet?
No, there's no sweet buffet. So lemon tart. That's it.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have like little pick and mix.
No, you pick and mix. Oh, no, they did have personalized those refresher sweetheart things.
Love hearts.
Yeah, they had those with their names on them, but obviously on each of the sweets, with the original sort of sayings, which were always a little bit dodgy, weren't they? Like "eat me" and various sort of phrases like that, which even at a young age I always thought slightly inappropriate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're 10 and someone sort of hands you a love heart that says, like, I don't know, tongue me.
Kiss me quick and all that kind of stuff. So but what I used mine for, because they were on the table, what I used mine for was palate cleansers in between the meal, because I'm quite sophisticated.
What are you going to be talking about this week?
First of all, we're going to talk about what happened on Saturday and not the wedding, the obviously disturbing riots in London. Then I'm going to be talking about some oral health. And then we're going to be talking about construction suicide. It's more positive than it sounds. It really is. Yeah. I know intermixed with that, we've got some good stories, some good animal stories, haven't we?
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about hedgehog highways.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to put that in because no one will put that in for me.
Okay, right. What was that? A hedgehog in the car?
Like a Roadrunner beep.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then and that will also include some other small animal infrastructure as well.
Fantastic.
But yeah, first though.
Yeah, we have to mention it, don't we? So I was at the wedding. I saw a TV in the corner and saw the riots unfolding. You know, it's a worrying thing, isn't it? Worrying times.
Yeah, I mean, I felt compelled to talk about it, but also just to see if I can actually find some positivity coming off the
Sure.
back of it as well. The Unite the Kingdom march on Saturday left me feeling just nothing but actually quite a mix of fear and anger. Like, considering that all of those so-called patriotic people were supposed to be marching for the safety of women and girls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really feel like it's had the desired effect for me. I just feel like it's gone far beyond that sort of just that genuine concern of how concerns about how our services, our overstretched services, NHS, everything like that is supposed to cope with immigration. To me, that just seemed like nothing but pure hatred and racism. And also thinking about like what you and Jim were talking about a few weeks ago, there is like the facts are out there, aren't they? The reality of what
Yeah.
immigration does to
Yeah.
our country
Yeah.
is out there.
Well, I think, like in the immigration special, which you can find on our podcast platform. So have a look at that from a few weeks ago. But as we were sort of talking about there, there is no causal connection between migration and the current economic woes, housing issues, and crime. And I think one of the big problems is which other leader in this country could get 110,000 people to come to a rally? So that's one thing, isn't it? That, if Keir Starmer had a rally, he wouldn't get 110,000 people, would he?
I think the way lots of people are feeling about him, actually, he'd be lucky
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
five. You'd get his, like, his family or something.
Yeah. So, on that side of things, you've got to say it's meaningful, isn't it? To get that many people, dedicated people, to march through central London on a Saturday shows that this is becoming, a serious movement, isn't it? What we've got to look at, this hasn't happened overnight, is it? This is like 14 years of Tory neglect, isn't it? Of underfunding all our public services, populations fed up with waiting for things to change. The Labour Party have set out their strategy to get us out of it by growth. That's not happening. And I think some people are getting frustrated, and where Labour and the Tories aren't addressing this, your Nigel Farage, your Tommy Robinsons they're almost sitting in that little gap, aren't they? Which is things are really tough. And when things are really tough, history tells us we blame the immigrants, the poor, the disabled. This is as old as history itself, isn't it? I feel the left and the right are actually letting us all down at the moment.
Yeah.
That they're allowing this to sort of fester.
Definitely. Nobody is really standing up and saying anything. They're so worried about alienating certain groups of voters that they're not like actually calling this out for what it is, and they're not standing up to people. If you're not really saying anything, then you're just complicit in the situation.
Keir Starmer has come out and he says, but again, this is not being reported, or this is not loud enough. Starmer says the national flag represents tolerance, diversity, and respect, not violence. But I've not heard that anywhere. I picked that up from a few slightly left-leaning papers. But as the Prime Minister, that message should be getting out loud and clear, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I ended up saying about it. We finally heard from him, but not really very loud and clear, have we? He's addressed it a little bit. So yeah, it's suppose I was feeling a little bit hopeless. So then I did actually then spend some time trying to see if I could actually pull something good out of this that we could talk about, so that we don't feel quite as
well, yeah, the same. And on the police confirmed that 24 arrests were made on the day, and protest is legitimate no matter what side you're on. So, we should all support that. But where it turns into violence against officers and members of the public, I mean, that's wholly unacceptable, isn't it? That there is a response from the government to law enforcement, but I think the damage has been done, isn't it? Because we've all seen the pictures, we've all seen the visuals. They've done their job, haven't they? Tommy Robinson, the other chap from the
Sorry,
channel,
who's actually really known as
Stephen
Stephen
Yaxley
Yaxley
Lesnan.
Lennon.
Yeah,
You have to keep saying that all
yeah,
the time.
yeah,
Like in certain
yeah,
articles, they
yeah,
say that after every time anyone
yeah.
says Tommy
Well,
Robinson.
Tommy Robinson was a well-known football hooligan from the 1980s. So this is who this guy models himself on. There is a group of people in Britain who feel disengaged, that they feel lost, out of control. They don't feel anyone's representing them in the mainstream parties. And Form and these rallies are fulfilling that. I'd quite like to know a little bit what is driving it, because when they do interview people about, what is it you want, there doesn't seem to be a clear message as to what it is they do want. Because sending some immigrants back who are, asylum seekers isn't going to fix the
Yeah.
NHS. It's not going to fix the economy. It's not going to fix the judiciary. It's not going to fix the shortage of housing. The message being put out by these far right groups is, by tackling this small immigration issue, will be the thing that fixes all our woes, and it won't.
I mean, yeah, because what they want is power, and
Yeah.
they have ulterior motive, don't they? Like, isn't Nigel Farage like part of that company? I can't remember what it's called. Like, it's like Nomad, and what it does is it helps the super rich get passports.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I was at
Yeah,
a
so they
conference,
can get
wasn't it?
like
Yeah,
multiple
yeah,
passports so
yeah,
that they can
yeah.
keep all of their money offshore
Sure,
so that
yeah.
they don't have to pay their taxes.
Which seems, very much against, these marchers, because it's all about, we're fed up with this economic hardship. Well, maybe if some of these, organizations or people paid a bit more tax, some of these institutions would get, a monetary boost. So,
Yeah.
it's almost going against what they're telling their supporters, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm hearing all sorts of concerning things because, I mean, obviously, Nigel Farage, he wants to sell off the NHS, he wants it
Yes.
privatised,
Yeah.
and he wants us to have a system like they have in the States.
Sure.
But also, a lot of people, even in our government now, are
Yeah.
getting funded from private healthcare companies.
Yeah.
So actually, there's not a lot of incentive for them because they are making personal wealth off of not investing in the NHS.
So we're in for a interesting couple of years for sure, unless of course the growth starts to come.
Well, there I can let you know some of the better, more positive things I found out if you like, because there are people out there who are taking it on. Yeah, so it's not necessarily coming
No,
from.
well there are, and there's a big anti-fascist campaign group, isn't there? Hope Not Hate.
There is Stand Up to Racism,
Yeah.
and they actually, so this sort of started from one of the news stories that I actually did look at. That was a positive story about people dealing with racism that's been going on. But so last week, residents in Swindon all came together to paint over racist graffiti. So there was graffiti that was Islamophobic, anti-Semitic, and far right, and it did unfortunately include swastikas in it as well.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant, isn't it? Because brought the community together against hatred, isn't it?
This is what they said. So that was actually organised with help from Stand Up to Racism. And the people who took part in it actually said that it made them feel more hopeful and empowered after they all came together to do something about it.
Well, as we've talked many times on this show, the strength of community makes you feel better. It kind of gives you some purpose and gives you some control. If there's things you can actually do, then that makes you feel as though you're pushing back a bit, doesn't it?
And also, if you like charity organisations and you're interested in supporting any charities with some of this that's happening now, I think you might have heard of this if you're a football fan. There's Show Racism the Red Card.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, so that's been going since the 90s. And
yeah,
I mean, I'd heard of the charity, but looking into it, I didn't actually realize why the charity started.
right.
And I thought it was quite a really good story. So, yeah, it was started thanks to a really big donation from the Newcastle goalkeeper, Shaka Hislop, after he was confronted at a petrol station near St James's Park by a group of young people who were shouting racist abuse at him.
Okay,
But as they got closer to him and realized who he was,
yeah,
suddenly they changed their tune entirely
yeah,
and wanted his autograph. But
yeah,
instead of him sort of being angry, he realized that he could use his influence to
yes,
change people's attitudes.
yeah,
So
mm,
that's why he ended up being one of the founders who put the big donation in to
yeah,
start this
yeah.
charity. So that is still going strong, and that is actually still the country's biggest anti-racism charity.
Well, it's about having, it's about having positive role models, isn't it?
Mm.
And unfortunately, your Tommy Robinsons and your Nigel Farages, are not necessarily that positive.
Yeah.
So, Shelley, Shelley,
Yes.
what if I told you that the secret to a healthier smile isn't just in your toothpaste?
I would say, Stuart, which craft could this possibly be?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
magic are you
yeah.
speaking of?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with your medical background, would you think, it's all in the toothpaste, a healthy smile?
Well, unless you're speaking gum health, though.
Ah, right. Well, I'll tell you where the secret to a healthier smile is kept, shall I?
Yes. Oh, please do. I am intrigued.
Well, I thought I would pique your interest with this. It's in your pantry. It's
In
in your
my
pantry.
pantry.
Well, I don't know about yours. I don't know if you got your shopping in this week, so not sure.
No, not yet. I've been a bit rubbish. No,
Okay.
I've been living off toast this week.
Well, what we're talking about here is the Mediterranean diet, and apparently, but I think we knew this, is a powerhouse for your heart and waistline. Do you know that?
Yes, I have heard of positive benefits of the Mediterranean diet because
Hmm.
it's actually also recommended for people with type 2 diabetes.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
there we go.
because
So
it's
there's
quite low
another thing.
in.
So, what is that? Because it's like low on carbs, that sort of thing, is it?
Well, it's lots of like whole grains and things. So
Yeah.
there are carbs in it, but they're carbs that break down more slowly.
Right.
And also, it's not processed. So
Yeah.
if you have carbs in some things, if you have processed food, it's got refined sugar in it, and
Yeah.
that absorbs into your bloodstream really
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what then makes your glucose spike, but
Yeah.
it's also more inclined to make you insulin resistant and cause you to
Mm,
put on weight as
mm,
well. So
mm,
but yeah, things like whole grains, they will break down more slowly. I
yeah.
mean, you need some carbohydrates in it. There's actually
Yeah.
loads of good nutrition that has that is
Mm.
a carbohydrate. Yeah.
Because some surveys say potatoes are good, others not so good. I think it's like you've just got to have it in moderation, haven't you?
I always think definitely the best people to get advice from, it's not TikTok.
No, I
Um,
found that. I mean, I've been
yeah.
eating gummy bears for years now, and I've not lost any weight. And so, no, TikTok is not the best. Yeah, the Mediterranean diet also is very good for your gum health. So, a recent study from King College London looked at this very question. They looked at 200 patients, and what they found was people who ate a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, nuts, and oily fish had better oral health. Not only that, they had less gum disease and inflammation. When researchers looked at the blood samples of those with severe gum disease, they saw something specific. They had higher levels of inflammatory markers, signals that their bodies were on high alert, fighting infection. But the patients who followed a plant rich diet, their levels of these markers were significantly lower. So the link is the food we eat can either fuel or fight inflammation in our bodies, and that includes our gums. So while we brush and floss, what you put on your plate is also important to your oral health. this is the beginning of the research, but it opens up a whole new way to think about health, not as a collection of separate parts, but as a single interconnected system. So I think it's basically saying that, like, all these things, if we make small changes to our diets, we can improve all aspects, can't we, of our general health and our body. But I think, you know, from your medical background, you're very much into this. Everything is connected, because it is, isn't it?
It is, yeah, definitely. And actually, it is. Sometimes you just don't always need fad diets and things like that. And those things that make you really just like almost hyper focus on food.
Yeah.
I don't think that's always so great for your mental health in some ways as
Yeah.
well. I think we focus a lot on our waistlines and our appearances.
Yeah.
So we don't then always think about what our body needs. We're so goal orientated. I must get down to this weight and I must fit this
Yeah.
dress size and I must look like this,
Yeah.
rather than thinking I need to eat these certain things all the time because
Yeah.
my body needs this, and I will be more well if I eat these foods.
Yeah. So, for instance,
Yeah.
like you say, you know, you may say, "Oh, I've got to get down to this certain size," but then
Mm.
your cholesterol might be really high
Yeah.
from the food you're eating. So it's about these markers, really, you should be keeping an eye on, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but whatever we eat, you get inflammation in your body, don't you? I only recently found that out about last year. I was speaking to a doctor about it. He says every time you eat, your body gets in, you know, inflammation. So in a way, it's not actually that good for you, is it?
Eating.
I think it's time, isn't it, to hear about these hedgehogs.
Meet me hedgehog highways.
Where are these hedgehog
Okay. So,
runways?
what is a hedgehog highway, and why would we want such a thing during this time of global climate crisis?
Hmm.
Don't roll your eyes.
Well, I'm not. I'm just trying to have a think about it. So, has their habitat changed? And
So,
are we building roads over their natural habitat and things like that? And kind of they've now got across dangerous roads.
I can reassure you about this situation. You do not need to worry. So,
Okay.
hedgehogs, for starters, are
Yeah.
not driving, even though that's not what you thought.
No. Well, how would
Well,
they
as
reach?
I wrote this down, I was
Yeah.
thinking, I'm going to just lead everyone into
Yeah.
thinking that
Yeah.
hedgehogs are now
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah.
No,
I was fooled. I was fooled there for
ah,
a moment. Thing is,
yeah,
how would they reach the steering wheel and the pedals and all that kind of thing? How
they
would
would
that work?
kind of. I think you'd probably have to upgrade a roller skate for them or
Okay,
something.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Put like firework on the back. I mean, that would be good fun. I'm not suggesting anybody tries that, because that is cruel. But maybe something along those sort of lines.
So basically, a hedgehog highway is a low cost measure that could be put in place to try and help protect animals. At the moment, in the laws, they're trying to push through amendments to the government's planning bill.
Yeah.
And they want just these amendments to be put in place for basically, all of the new building, all the new homes that they want to build that are supposed to protect animals. So these are quite simple. So the highways are just really small holes in fences that link gardens to green spaces.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, if everyone had just a really little hole in their fence, like say one on either side and ones that get out like into the nicer greener areas, it just means that hedgehogs aren't going to be sort of cut off from their habitat
Yeah.
that people are going to be building all over.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's sort of, these little holes are going to be smaller than what people's normal pets are, unless you have like a guinea pig or something that runs around the garden. But if you've got like cats, dogs, things like that, they're not going to be able to get out of that hole. They also want the amendments to include bird safe glass. So that has like a UV reflective technology in it, so that the birds don't see it as like something see-through. But apparently it doesn't affect how it looks humanized, though. It looks translucent still. to us. There are other things you can actually do to make your glass bird safe. You can actually put markings on your glass to stop birds from flying into it. Because I did, when I was looking it up, I did Google it, and there is advice from our SPCB on like how to stop birds from flying into your glass, and which they don't tend to survive when they do that.
No, it's a big thud, isn't it?
Yeah, and it leaves a really kind of like
Yeah.
eerie sort of bird shape on your window as well.
Bit like the Banksy mural when they took that off the wall. Don't know if you saw that in London. It put this new graffiti image on the court with like a judge hitting a protester with a hammer. So obviously it's a listed building, so they took it off, but it used special paint. So when they took it off, you could still see the silhouette and the shadow. So a bit like that, I guess. Still there. I digress. So I mean, yeah, so it's got to be a thing, isn't it? So like hedgehogs, they're just going to get stuck, aren't they, in these gardens otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, our government at the moment, they're not very keen on a lot of these measures, though,
No,
because
no.
they said no to the Swift boxes,
Yeah,
sorry, Swift bricks
yeah,
that we
yeah. We talked
mentioned
about those,
before.
didn't we? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and they don't, because what their opinion on it is they don't want things that are going to be sort of slowing down or adding extra cost
yes, yeah,
to building
yeah,
new homes.
yeah,
But
yeah,
lots of like nature groups
yeah.
are really not happy about
No,
this, because I
yeah,
think if you're going to build on the green belt, there needs to be a
yeah,
little bit of compromise. But I think you can make your own hedgehog highways. Like I did find advice for people if you want to, it was basically telling you how to join a hedgehog highway.
yeah.
So you
How
can
how do we do that? Do we know?
I really can't remember it all off the top of my
Oh
head,
no,
but
oh, it's all right. We'll
you
share
do,
the
yeah, you just need to be able to make a little hole in one of your fence panels, just a very
yeah,
small hole. And you
yeah,
can get little signs though, cute little signs.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think the hedgehogs need them, but it's just
No,
nice for
no,
us. So
yeah,
there are little
yeah,
hedgehog shaped signs
yeah.
you can get that say hedgehog highway.
Would you tell your neighbour before you start digging a big hole in their fence?
Yeah, because that's the one thing you have to make sure it's your fence before you put a
Yeah.
hole in
Okay. Right.
it.
Going to bring it down a little bit now, but then bring it up a bit. So, a
Good.
bit of light and shade. So I think it was yourself. You said last week was it Suicide Week?
It was World Suicide Prevention Day
So,
last
well, yeah.
week.
And
Yeah,
after that, I did go and
yeah.
check. I did go and check it out, and it was quite an interesting little story I found here from the Independent last week. I didn't know that the suicide rate with construction workers is over 4 times the national average. I found that quite fascinating. But then I thought about it, and actually, I spoke to someone who I work with, and their son, he's in the construction industry. He's really struggling with it because it's a really sort of alpha environment,
Right.
quite toxic male environment. And obviously, things like each week he doesn't get paid enough. And his sort of boss says, "Oh, you're not worth it," and this sort of thing. So he has to like say, "No, I do need it," and he has to stand up to him every week. So,
Wow,
so
that is exhausting.
yeah,
That
yeah,
must be
yeah,
mentally
yeah.
exhausting. I'm
And then
so
and then he says things like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. Oh, I messed it up. I screwed it up." But then he'll say to sort of other people, "Well, you haven't worked as hard as Jim or Bob or Roger," and doesn't get paid as much. So, imagine that. Like, and even like booking any holiday is like hard work. It's like told, "Why do you
Mhm.
need a holiday?" and all this sort of thing. So, I would expect, when you're working in an environment like that, that's not going to be particularly good for your mental health, is it? And it is traditionally a male job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's yeah, so I suppose it goes back to sort of those men's mental health campaigns, doesn't
Yeah,
it? And
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. That does make
yeah.
sense.
So the industry was saying here that it's always been operated with a mindset of toughness, and again, where vulnerability is seen as a weakness. And you imagine that again, can't you, on a building site, all the bants,
Yeah.
and if you are feeling a little bit vulnerable, or things aren't quite going your way, or you may have a mental health issue, then it's not something you can particularly discuss, is it? Especially if your line manager is, for instance, withholding money or not treating you particularly well. I'm not saying that's the case across all building industry. That was just this example someone gave me about their son. So the industry said they built an environment where they talk about safety on the job site. So obviously they put on their hard hats, don't they? Wear the vests, but they don't ever talk about mental health and how that affects them. But things are changing. So during Construction Suicide Prevention Week, which was also at the same time as the was that a worldwide campaign, the one last week?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was World
yeah.
Suicide Prevention
So
Day.
this runs in the same week, the Construction Suicide Prevention Week. So over 400,000 people from 650 companies came together, and they took a moment of silence and they held toolbox talks about mental health, and they began to sort of talk about stigma. This is their words, not mine. Brick by brick. Yeah. See what they did there. So major companies like Turner, Bechtel, and Fleur are investing millions of dollars and building coalitions to make mental health as routine as hard hat. They're training managers to spot the signs of struggle and to create a culture where it's safe to ask for help. They're making mental health resources like counselling and therapy accessible and free for workers and their families. So again, leaders are saying they're starting to understand that construction workers' well-being isn't just about physical safety; it's also about their psychological safety too. It's about addressing the deep-rooted challenges of job insecurity, which is another thing in that industry, long hours, and what is a really physical job, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
about recognizing the issues like substance abuse, and again, looking behind some of this as well, that is a big problem again on some building sites. Substance abuse, it isn't a moral failing, but often it's just a cry for help, really, to help deal with stress. The leaders saying they're not just building structures anymore, they're looking at building a culture of care where, and I think they're gradually catching up with this whole "it's okay not to be okay." I mean, that's been around for quite a long time now, hasn't it? That slogan. But it's good that the construction, industry is catching up somewhat.
yeah,
So culture where they look out for each other, and just try and chat a bit more as well. So the foundation has been laid. That's another pun from them, but the work is far from done. The next time you see a construction worker, they say, remember the incredible mental fortitude it takes to do what they do, and ask yourself, what can we all do to ensure that people who build our world are supported, seen, and heard? So, that's a good initiative in what is, quite a male environment, isn't it?
yeah.
And it's a good start. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, is it? Because people who are entrenched in that whole what it is to be a man, that's you can't just undo that overnight,
No, it
can
does.
you?
It will take a while, but I'm just sort of thinking also how easy I think it is for the, not without the male, like sort of, that toxic environment necessarily, but a lot of them are self-employed
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah,
and you've got to
yeah,
be earning enough all the
yeah,
time, and
yeah,
and I think a lot of them must be well working over normal hours.
yeah. And
Just
that was
yeah,
the bit in there, wasn't it,
yeah,
about job insecurity? And
yeah. You
I
must.
think even going back to that, just the chat I had with someone whose son's doing, because they are self-employed as well. So when you're having to then chase money as well, because being self-employed is quite difficult, isn't it? So then you've got to like chase potential people to pay you money. You've got that all going on.
Mm,
You've got job insecurity. That must be quite a stressful way to live your life.
yeah, definitely. Well, I like the sound of that. I think that sounds really good. I like the sound of that. I think it's also just good that people are not just focusing on the fact that there is this massive problem of rates of suicide, but also honing in on those
Yeah,
individual
yeah,
areas,
yeah,
isn't it? That's
yeah,
why is it such a problem here, and
yeah,
what can you do about it?
yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that, the suicide rate is 4 times the national average,
Mm.
there's clearly a problem, isn't there, in that industry?
I think it would help in the building industry overall if they got to put in more swift bricks, hedgehog highways. And
Well, again, it's that connection to nature, isn't it?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's
definitely.
that's
It's just a suggestion.
that's. Have you got a story about some dogs?
Well, yeah, well, it's not really a story. I
Ah,
just thought because we were sort of talking about some quite heavy, well, it is as well, it's a thing. Um,
mm,
yeah, but we've been talking about some quite heavy things today,
mm,
haven't
mm,
we? And
mm.
wanted to just keep it, but I just so happened to, well, I'm not going to say I just so happened to be at the pub on Saturday.
Okay.
That was quite planned. Saturday afternoon, I was at the pub.
Well, that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Worked all week. It's time for you, isn't it? You time.
Yeah, yeah, but when I was at the pub, I ended up meeting a dog
Hmm.
who is on a voyage at the moment of
Mm.
circumnavigating the British Isles.
What?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, there is. I met the dog's owners. The dog wasn't just there on its own with a little skipper hat on,
Mm.
singing sea shanties and telling about, yeah, the dog was called Sphere, and she's just this most gorgeous dog ever. She looked like I can't remember. I think she was like a Bernese
Mm.
mountain dog. Yes, she was a Bernese mountain dog, and she was so sweet and friendly. Like once she realized she could get fuss from us, she kept coming out, and she would do this thing where she would get her head like under your hand and sort of knock it back over the top of her head, so you had to keep fussing her.
Yeah.
So this couple called Peter and Jen
Yeah.
are basically, they're sailing all the way around the British Isles
What were
with
they
the
do?
dog.
What were they doing in the pub then?
Well, they've come into port.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm guessing they must be at Southampton or
Yeah.
something at the
Okay.
moment, and they know
Yeah.
people around here. So
Yeah.
they'd come in to see people who they knew. And then he told us about what he's doing at the moment and showed us his website. It's called dogsale.com. So you can
Okay.
actually follow their journey. I kind of felt like I met a little like celebrity
Yeah.
dog
Did they say
movie.
where they started? Was it top of
Um,
England or Scotland, or suppose we should just look on their website, really?
Yeah, I'm trying because I'm trying to look at it
Mm,
at the moment.
mm.
So yeah,
Here we
it's
go. Sort of a live update as to where he is. What was? Did he have a name? Did I miss that?
so they're Jen, Pete, and Svea, the dog.
Sphere. Yeah.
They have actually been going off to other places a little bit as well. They did
Yeah.
go off to France for a bit.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you go onto the website, you can see what legs they're on of the
Fantastic.
tour.
Yeah. Is there lots of
So
pictures of Sphere as well on there?
yes,
Yeah.
there is,
Yeah.
and she's got her little life jacket
Yeah.
on, and she looks really cute.
Fantastic. Well,
So
if you see Sphere in your local pub, wish them luck.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, definitely.
So, well, I think it's been lovely to speak to Shelley. I think we've done quite well tonight, haven't we?
I think so. I think we've covered everything.
I think,
I think we can wrap everything up now,
well,
and
yeah, I think we should.
Jim is gonna probably weep like a little
Yeah,
tear of joy and
yeah,
pride
yeah,
when he
yeah.
hears this. Like
I
he'll
think
be,
he'll be proud of us.
yeah, I think that he will. I think
Mm,
he will have so much positivity to
yeah, yeah. I think
pour
I have to.
over
Uh,
us.
yeah, we'll be like his children who've come good.
Yeah. So, yeah, so just before we go though, I'm going to just do my little begging bit right now. If you are listening to us and if you do like us, we would be so, so grateful if you could leave us all of the stars. I don't want just one star. If you don't like us and you don't, please just don't bother. Just leave like as many stars as you can possibly leave us on the platforms. Also, we are on social media as well, so you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What are we on TikTok? We're not. Have we even?
Yeah, we're on TikTok.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah, and we are also, you can also email us
Yeah, you
as
can.
well at everything's fine probably at Gmail. I'm not sure what the G stands for.
Google.
Oh.
But what it
I
does.
thought it was
Yeah.
gonorrhea.
No, no, we did that.
Now.
Yeah, we did that. We did that a few episodes ago, gonorrhea, didn't we?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly.
It's not that. It's Google.
But it also, if you have any of your own positive stories or
Yeah,
big events in your life
sure.
that you would actually like to share with us,
Yeah,
then please get in touch and let us know, and we will
definitely.
happily hear from you.
Chat them
So,
through, can't we? So
yeah.
if you've got any dogs sailing around the British Isles, or any ideas for hedgehog highways,
Hmm.
anything like that, then let
Yeah,
us know. Because that's what we like to talk about, isn't it?
yeah,
Positivity.
yes. Hopefully that wasn't too grovelly.
No, it
And
wasn't. But this whole thing about don't listen, no, do listen. Even if you don't like it, still listen. Because there
well,
might
no,
be.
just don't say anything. Okay, just
Okay,
listen,
yeah,
but just don't
yeah,
say anything. Don't
yeah,
don't give us
yeah.
like 1 star.
No, don't give us 1 star.
No,
But
just keep it
yeah,
to yourself.
yeah,
Just
keep it to
defend us
yourself.
quietly.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. But keep listening, because there might be a bit coming up that you do like. So,
Yeah,
you know, just be patient. In
exactly.
this world, it's all about, instant gratification, isn't it? But just, wait, there might be a good bit. You might look, the
Yeah,
dog on the boat. That was right at the
yeah,
end,
exactly. You
you
never know
know.
what you're gonna get.
So, right then, see you next time, as they say.
Yeah, see you all soon. Meet me.